Today we kick off our Halfway to Halloween triple feature series with Joel Schumacher's 1990 pop thriller about life, death, and the natural high of foolish abandon. The defibrillators are charging up, the sins of our past are coming back to haunt us, and the most reckless, hairspray-friendly med students on this side of the Chicago River are playing ding-dong ditch on death's doorstep as we meet the Grim Reaper himself and give careful consideration to the phrase, "Only the good die young," in Flatliners. You're listening to How I Met Your Monster, a podcast that explores the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. My name's Zach.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Casey.
And together we dive into the world of horror to find out how filmmakers have introduced us to our favorite monsters time and time again. This is How I Met Your Monster.
Boss, you opened it. We came.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left.
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
Call you Meatloaf! Surprise, Sydney.
Come on, don't be chicken shit.
Welcome to How I Met Your Monster, the show where we discuss the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. Today, we are kicking off a brand new triple feature series, Halfway to Halloween, because it's April.
Yeah.
Well, it's like March, April. When does this episode come out?
I believe, I think
this will come out
this is like,
April.
we're fully immersed in April with these three.
This comes out April 1st. This is April 1st. This is not a joke, you guys.
Oh.
This is not a joke. This is our new triple feature.
Fooled ya. No episode, motherfuckers.
It's also halfway to my birthday. Did you guys used to like tell people when it was like your half birthday?
No, Danny, I don't need attention that bad.
No, I used to always say that. I'd be like, it's April 13th. I'm 9.5 officially.
I don't even know when my half birthday would be.
I mean, mine would be January 7th. Yours would be
January 7th. So what you're trying to say is you celebrate the raid on the Capitol. Wow, Casey.
That was the 6th.
Yeah, I know. It's the day of celebration.
Well, the next day was the celebration. Celebrate that it's over. Jesus Christ. God. Okay, we're not going to get into politics, but I can't believe that Donald Trump might be the president again. Oh my God.
I can. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Have you seen this country?
They're like, yeah.
Nothing
they're like, even if
surprises
he's
me.
convicted,
Yeah.
even if he's convicted, it's cool. He can still run for president.
It's like, huh?
How does that make
What?
any sense?
We're at the point where everything is
God.
possible, and usually the worst case scenario is the likeliest contender for what is going to happen. So I
Yeah.
don't like it, but what the I'm just so tired. I'm just burnt out.
Yeah. Halfway to Halloween.
We're like halfway to reaching my wit's end. You know what I mean?
Halloween.
Ball of,
I don't know. Balls. I don't know.
we're like half of my ween is not cool with this. I don't know. There's something.
All right. But today we are starting our Halfway to Halloween triple feature with Flatliners, Joel Schumacher's 1990 film starring
The
Kevin Bacon.
classic Halloween horror film, Flatliner.
Hey, you guys.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, about 40 minutes in, we saw that one of the days was Halloween.
No, I actually love that we did this because, first of all, I've never seen this movie. Second of all, never knew that it was set on or around Halloween. Third of all,
It's like
It-
it has nothing to do with Halloween. It's just like it just happens to be on Halloween.
no, I think it's the perfect movie because it sets like that fall. We talked about this. We were texting about how it has that like really cozy, autumn vibe, and so it's very much has the essence and spirit of Halloween. It's all themed around death, and Halloween is it All Hallows Eve is like the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest.
Oh, right. Right.
Which makes sense that they would want to kind of
cross
over as they do
Yeah.
in this film. So I think I think it was a great pick, honestly.
Well,
Glad I watched it, and I'm glad we chose it.
well, Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
It is a great movie. You definitely get it's just a vibe. Like you were saying, it's got autumn vibes. The whole thing is just a vibe in itself. You know, it opens up with those like statues and that like choir music. And then you get like the Joel Schumacher, like he likes to fucking fly over water and see like a coastline. And then you get Kiefer Sutherland, like a close up.
No one does like pop drama like Joel Schumacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's zero subtlety.
He's so good though. I love his movies so much.
That's the thing.
Oh my God.
And in most of his movies, like you need that. So he just fully commits to it. We should say RIP to Mr. Schumacher, who passed away, I think about 4 years ago now.
Was it? Wow. I thought it was longer than that actually.
2020.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't get better than Batman and Robin.
It doesn't. Are you okay? If you had to choose between the two Joel Schumacher Batman movies, are you Batman Forever or Batman and Robin?
Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Sure. I don't remember him that well.
I honestly like all of those Batman movies. So I do still like Batman and Robin. I'm not going to lie.
Batman.
I did love Poison Ivy. Though.
And Robin has Mr. Freeze, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy, Bane, and Mr. Freeze.
Who is in Batman Forever?
There's Bane in that? Batman Forever is Riddler.
And Two-Face.
And Two-Face.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Bane is in Batman and Robin. Yeah.
He's just like he's like Poison Ivy stooge, essentially. He doesn't
okay.
talk or anything. He's just...
Yeah. I recall now.
Yeah. And he wears that big, like a full mask, I think. It's not just like, whatever.
Yeah, I know people can't see this right now, but he wears what I wear to these recordings. So if you've ever seen Batman and Robin, you see the scene with Bane, you kind of get an idea of what I look like while I'm doing these episodes.
Danny wears a gimp suit to record in.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like jacked up with chemicals. And so if you ever hear my voice cut out or anything, that's probably why. So we're working on it, but I just don't feel like it's the right time to give up.
Yeah, he looks like a luchador in Batman and Robin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As do I.
Danny wears a ball gag to record. He's just like...
See, I think Danny looks more like Nacho Libre.
Oh, okay.
I was going for both, so I appreciate
Nacho!
it.
Okay, but we're not talking about Batman and Robin. We're not talking about Nacho Libre. We're talking about
Wish we were.
Flatliners.
No, I did like this movie. However, I could not really identify any monsters.
Okay, I think the monsters would be the sins of our past.
Yeah. And the monsters are the friends we made along the way.
But they're not really monsters, though. That's what I was... So at first I thought it was Kiefer Sutherland's character. And then when the monsters started coming back, I was like, well, they all did things to fuck these people over, so how are they monsters?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of had to go back, and because I didn't know, I was like, maybe one of these guys turns out to be the monster, and like there's a, he's like the villain. But then I kind of went back and would just count every time we met one of the ghosts from their past.
Okay.
Good pick, Zach. Good pick.
I love it.
I mean, it was a good movie.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Why are we making this easy? I mentioned this earlier, and I'm going to say it again. I actually think this is a great pick for our halfway to Halloween triple feature, because on Halloween, people dress up as monsters, but that's not to say that they really are monsters.
Oh.
So these spirits aren't evil, they're not bad, and they're not monsters, but we're still going to count it. So we'll consider this the costumed, I don't know, version of our, I don't fuck, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Good. Yeah,
you know
very good, Danny.
Hear what I'm saying?
They're haunting to these characters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And even one like is violent towards one of the characters.
Because he fucking killed him.
Yeah, I know. Like,
because he killed an 8-year-old boy.
That's not an excuse to be mad at someone.
He ends up not being a monster, but
just kidding.
We don't know that at the time. And Kiefer Sutherland is like, it's like he's a monster to him.
Yeah.
To Nelson's character, Kiefer Sutherland's character, Nelson. He's a monster to him.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like the characters perceive these things as
That's true.
Like an enemy, some kind of dangerous force.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that while I was watching the movie last night.
And even
so.
like Julia Roberts, who plays Rachel Manis, even like her dad is very monstrous.
Yeah.
She's not really scared of him. Well, I think she's kind of scared.
They're
but
not
like,
there to make them feel comfortable.
She's like, why are you here? Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I don't cry very often during horror movies.
Did you cry during this one?
Did this get you?
Yeah.
Yeah, her dad.
With Rachel and her dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sad.
The only other horror movie I can think of that made me really cry was A Quiet Place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a fun movie to cover. Quiet Place.
With you really quiet.
Oh, God. That movie was heartbreaking. Anyways.
I know. The Sixth Sense makes me cry.
Oh. Little Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Little Forrest Gump.
Little baby Forrest.
Oh, that's right.
Hello,
Yeah.
Mr. Gump.
Yeah. Maybe Jenny was already dead by the end of the movie, and we were just seeing her ghost.
All right, we're not doing a conspiracy theory about Forrest Gump and the Sixth Sense. Let's move on.
Oh, Casey, you open that door.
Okay. Well, okay. So this was a first time watch for both of you, and you both enjoyed it.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's
very
awesome.
much so.
Yeah.
I used to watch this movie a lot as a kid, and little Billy Mahoney always scared the shit out of me. Even though he's not a monster, which we'll find out, he is a monster to Nelson, and he was a monster to me as a young boy.
Yeah, but he had it coming, didn't he?
Nelson?
He's a monster in my book.
Did you see
or Billy Mahoney.
Billy.
Have you seen the
Why
remake?
climbing trees?
I have not seen the
haven't,
remake.
No. You have?
I have
No.
not, no. This is confusing. Who has seen the remake? Not me.
Nobody.
I haven't. You have, though.
No, I thought
you
you
saw
said
it.
Spider.
Oh, I thought you saw Flatliners remake.
Well, I know we don't necessarily go by Rotten Tomatoes, but it's got a 4%.
Yeah, I have heard like again, I will state this again. I absolutely hate Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And I will say that's not why I have not seen the new Flatliners. But I heard it wasn't that great. But
Yeah, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes either, but if it's a
But I love a
4%
fresh
or
tomato.
below,
Oh.
that's that's
but
where
I would give
I draw the line.
Flatliners remake a shot and just see. Kiefer Sutherland is in it.
What?
He plays like a. I don't think
Billy
it's a
He
huge.
plays the defibrillator. Billy Mahoney.
I think it's a pretty small role, kind of like a cameo role, but he plays like the doctor who's like teaching these med students.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Gotcha. Oh,
But
that's
he's
cute.
not his same character. He's a different character.
Oh,
Yeah,
why not just make it a sequel?
right. Like because he was
And,
a
like-
doctor, he totally could have been the same character. And
Yeah,
like,
and they could have found
Oh.
out that like
Yeah.
this guy the teacher did that, and then that could be like their gateway into it.
Yeah.
yeah, and he'd be like, "I've done this
Well-
before. Like, you guys got to be careful."
Well, that's how you get a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
You don't make the Flatliners remake a sequel.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm excited to talk about this movie and its non-monstrous monsters.
Me too.
So let's get into it. But before we start, I have to mention that when this movie came out, in a Fangoria interview, Kiefer Sutherland described Flatliners as The Breakfast Club Dies and St. Elmo's Funeral, which Joel Schumacher, the St. Elmo's Fire was a Joel
Right.
Schumacher movie. And so he mentioned those. He mentioned that in a Fangoria interview. And if you guys, you lovely listeners out there, are not subscribed to Fangoria, there is no better time than now to visit shop.fangoria.com/howimetyourmonster, add a subscription to your cart, and enter promo code howimetyourmonster at checkout to get 20% off your whole order. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you will
You can
help.
find hot deals and Kiefer Sutherland's clever wit.
That's right. Maybe you can even find a past. Maybe you can even find the past issue where Kiefer Sutherland mentioned Flatliners.
Yeah. You think it's entertaining hearing Zach talk about this quote, you should read it
That's right.
with your eyes.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So
From the source.
Visit shop.fangoria.com/howimetyourmonster. Promo code howimetyourmonster for 20% off, and you will help support our show. So with that being said, are you guys ready to
Flatline?
get chilled? And Flatline. That's much better. They've got that like refrigerated blanket.
Are you guys ready to get chilled?
So we got to cool down first.
Classic line from Flatliners.
Are you guys ready to drop body temperature? Are you guys ready to get down to a cool 89 degrees?
These are all so much better than mine.
Are you guys ready to get defibbed? Are you ready to get shocked?
Man, so much better.
Are you ready to get chilled?
You guys ready to
Yeah,
get
what are you talking
chilled?
about?
Are you guys ready to fucking die for 5 minutes? Let's fucking go.
You know what this movie reminded me of? It reminded me of the last episode we did, Talk to Me.
Yeah.
About a bunch of reckless young fools trying to, they could go cave diving, rock climbing. They could go skydiving. But no, they're like, we don't want to go skydiving. We want to go ground dying.
Oh, I thought you were going to say skydying, but that's okay.
Oh, I was gonna, and I was like, let me flip the script. As they say in Hollywood, in the biz, let's flip the script.
Flip the script.
Let's shake it up.
But I really wanted to tell you guys when I was like, let's do Flatliners. I really was dying to be like, it's really similar to Talk to Me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which maybe it was too close to do another episode about counting when someone
It's
is
still very different.
Yeah.
no, I agree. Let's not do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna walk it back.
Watch a different movie.
No, I actually think it's great because it's kind of like
Flatliners.
it's like a different flavor. It's a similar flavor. I don't know.
Flavor Flav.
It's like getting
It's like Flavor Flav.
chocolate ice cream in a sugar cone and then getting twist ice cream in a waffle cone.
That's my thoughts exactly.
Exactly.
Man, I'm all about those chills today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get
Very
chilled.
cold.
DQ.
I guess.
Hot eats and cool treats.
We are in Chicago
But treat you right.
on Halloween. I'm assuming it's it's the Windy City. It's pretty chilly.
Mhm.
They didn't even need those blankets.
Oh man, yeah.
Just open a window.
And then, hey, it gave Joel Schumacher a great excuse to have another bonfire with a bunch of people dancing around it with some rocky pop song.
It's so true with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. Okay, so I know Casey doesn't have any reveals for this movie. I have 14 reveals and 2 honorable mentions.
I'm sorry.
Danny, what do you have?
10 reveals and 0 honorable mentions.
Okay. I will say that 4 of my reveals are like boom, 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 one right after the other, and they're very similar. So
Okay.
they could possibly count as one.
Okay.
Before we get started, I'm going to read the synopsis for Flatliners. 5 medical students experiment with near-death experiences until the dark consequences of past tragedies begin to jeopardize. 5 medical students jeopardize. These ghosts are haunting me, and I feel jeopardized.
Hello, I'm Alex Trebek. Welcome to Jeopardy.
How funny is it that a word, like just saying a word wrong, is that funny?
Oh, God. Okay. 5 medical students experiment with near-death experiences until the dark consequences of past tragedies begin to jeopardize their lives. That sounds
Jeopardize their lives.
jeopardize their lives. That sounds spooky, right?
Yeah.
It does.
You wouldn't know that there was no monsters in this movie. Okay, so we're in this great big college in Chicago with like these buildings that are just, it's like the college is like a museum.
Yeah, there's something.
I was thrown off by that.
it's-
That was that felt
I
the
was
most
too.
Schumacheriest of this movie.
See, I felt, I don't know. It was really.
Because I didn't think it was the school. It felt like they were doing like they had cadavers from the museum somehow. I was like, wait, why are they so fresh?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Well, the cinematography in this movie was John DeBont, who is just awesome. Many of you would know him as the director of Speed.
I always thought it was a silent J. Or not a silent J. That would be
Jan.
on. But I thought it was a Y.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe I said it wrong.
And I think the B is
Jan.
pronounced as a J. So it's Jan to John.
Jan to John.
Yeah.
Bond, they're just switched.
Yeah.
The J and the B are switched.
Yeah.
It's Bond to John. So yeah, you're probably right. But either way, he was the cinematographer for this movie, and it just the look of it is so interesting. It reminded me of like when they're in that room with the cadavers. It was like it reminded me of Dead Ringers.
See, I haven't seen it. You guys are
Like Dead Ringers was much more like polished and shiny and all that, but still it had like this. It had this, I don't know, this weird kind of vibe that was. Oh, where'd he go, Danny?
Danny, have you been jeopardized?
I lost. I lost. Did you guys lose me? Because I lost you guys.
Daniel, where are you?
Can you hear me?
Danny's been jeopardized.
No,
Can you
he's
hear
been
me?
jeopardized.
I flatlined.
Starting CPR. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000.
It's been 12 minutes. He is dead.
5 1,000, breathe! And 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000.
Forget about it, Dave. We lost him.
No, you son of a bitch!
Stop it! David, stop it!
Stop it!
Stop! David! Stop it, David!
No!
Stop it, David! David! Stop it! David! David! Let him go.
Okay, so we did have some technical issues, and we had to record this. So we had to finish the recording on a different day. So here we go again. Where we
go.
last
Today
left off.
is the different day.
Today is
you
the
know
different
what else? Today is a good day to die.
Ooh, or is it? If you
Don't
watch
say
the
that.
movie,
Oh, today's a good day to flatline. Who was he talking to in that scene? By the way, we're talking about Kiefer Sutherland. It's the opening line of the movie. Kiefer Sutherland playing Nelson. He's standing out, looking on the ocean. He's staring out at the ocean in Chicago, the Chicago Ocean.
he's no, he's clearly talking to Joel Schumacher, who's in the helicopter.
He's like, "How about today? It's a good day to die." All right, cut.
Quit playing with your dinghy. That's like
I love that scene in Tommy Boy when they're on the sailboat on the ocean.
that's why Kiefer Sutherland always wears a trench coat. He's playing with his dinghy all the time and he needs to hide it. But okay, when we last left off, we were just going over our number of reveals for this episode, and we were just about to get into Flatliners. So,
And I am just going to clarify that I didn't have any because I didn't know who the monster was in this movie.
that's right.
Because I am stupid.
No, I mean it is a little.
This was a tough movie.
It's not a traditional monster.
No. And we didn't want to. Casey and I, you and I were the only ones who hadn't seen the movie, so we didn't want
Right.
to establish who the monsters were with Zach because it could have been a spoiler.
Right. So one of the, this is not a reveal, but one of the first things we see right towards the beginning is Kevin Bacon doing this heroic kind of, his character is Dave.
Yes.
He's doing this heroic kind of like, I'm going to do whatever I can to save this woman, even though I'm not qualified or whatever. He's like, I know I can do it. So basically he gets suspended from this medical school. Why? Because this is a question for you guys. Why does he feel the need to rappel down out of the window like he's
instead of just leaving like a normal person?
Like he's sneaking out of a boarding school or something. He's
Well,
like,
is it weird that I don't know if maybe it's because it's Kevin Bacon, but is it weird that I didn't think there was anything strange about that? It didn't. Now we're talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty bizarre.
Definitely thought there was something wrong.
he like throws his bag out first and like lands on the ground in front of Kiefer. It's like a classic, like, I'm running away
so
from home.
funny.
I'm mad at my parents. It's like, just walk out the front door. Like,
right. I do think that it kind of it fits his character though.
yeah, you do.
Even though it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
He's very dramatic.
Maybe that's just how he leaves, because
He
if
is very
you look at his
dramatic.
truck,
Exactly.
Yeah.
his truck looks like it's like
Fucking Humvee from the
pulled
army.
out of like the Gulf War. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so he does like Nelson, Kiefer Sutherland's character. Nelson says like something about like, why don't you go climb a mountain or something like that. And he has all the rappelling gear. He's got like, we'll see later that in the back of his truck, he's got like the picks and stuff that you climb with. So he climbs mountains, but why does
establishing, I guess
why does he have to
we're
use
establishing that they're
know.
risk takers, maybe.
But
it's a funny way to establish it. It's like, okay, it's a very convenient way to be like, we need to just nail this character trait as efficiently and economically as possible. Oh, he's a rock climber. Well, we're in Chicago. Jump out the window.
There's no rocks around. Here's a man-made rock. It's a building.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's the next best thing.
This is the closest thing I could come to a mountain.
Yeah.
Cement building.
So yeah, I guess I would guess it's a character thing.
Okay.
It is silly though.
So to set up this movie really quick, basically Nelson is going around asking his classmates, a select few classmates, which I guess are like
Med
the
school
best
students.
Med school students. They must be the best of the best, because he's like, I need you. I want to kill myself, and I want you to bring me back so that we can study the afterlife and see what happens when you die. So he's trying to recruit these 1, 2, 3, 4. He's trying to recruit 4 other students to help him. And long story short, he does. And he's the first to go under because this was his idea, and he's like, I'm going to do it. They all think he's crazy. But
Fun fact, screenwriter Peter Filardi came up with the idea for this movie after a friend of his had a near-death experience. So they always say, right what you know. And
I wonder what his friend's near-death experience. I wonder if he saw anything afterwards.
that's interesting. Yeah.
You know,
I bet there were conversations. I bet it was like, because, you know, I mean, we can get it. I don't want to be too distracting, but you always hear stories about people who are like, oh, I saw this and that, you know, on the other side. But then you could chalk it up to like, that could just be like chemicals in your brain or, you know, spit firing, and you're just seeing images of things. But then again, that's obviously a skeptical perspective.
Well,
that's very much the Kevin Bacon, David perspective.
and me.
It's like,
that's how
totally.
I feel
Yeah.
about
It's
it.
like, this is pure logic. Whereas, well, we'll meet some other characters who think a little differently.
right.
Or at
right.
least we'll consider that.
But yeah, that's definitely David's stance, because he even says it, and he's like, it's just chemical stuff in your brain. But Nelson goes through with it, and he flatlines, and they bring him back after, what is it, like 2 minutes or something like that? And then
I think they don't quite reach 2 minutes yet.
okay. But then throughout the movie,
Then at
they
one
start
point they're like 150.
pushing it.
Yeah, and then they start climbing. Yeah.
So that brings us to our first reveal after, at least my first reveal, after Nelson gets brought back and he's starting to like, he feels different, and they never really explore this anymore, but he's like, I feel so different. Like I can hear better. I can see better. Like I hear the humming under the street lights and all this shit. And they never like go back to that he has like enhanced senses now, but he starts seeing visions of a dog, a dog champ. And he follows him into this like old alley, and then he sees a little kid in a hooded sweatshirt. Used to scare the shit out of me. And the kid punches him in the fucking face and kicks him.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that was my first reveal of we will later find out is Billy Mahoney.
Yes, that's also who I have as my first reveal.
Okay.
Well. So
I do
cross it off the list, people. If you're tallying it up, if you're betting with your friends, because we are live on the air, that is our first reveal.
I do have an honorable mention before that, though.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It is Dr. Hurley, William Baldwin, old Billy Baldwin.
Billy B.
While he's having sex with a woman and videotaping her, which will come into play
100%.
throughout the movie. But that's the first time we see like the camera, and I was like, he's kind of a monsterish, and so like that's.
Oh yeah, we're gonna come back to him.
But wouldn't
a little
that
later.
be,
wink, wink.
Wouldn't that be less of a monster reveal, more of like a real monster?
Yeah, that's why I put it as an honorable mention.
Okay.
And not
or like a dishonorable
mention.
Dishonorably discharged.
What's up with Billy? Billy Baldwin was going through something in the early 90s, this voyeurism. He also starred in the thriller Sliver with Sharon Stone.
Which I just
in which
saw.
he does literally what he does in this movie, but like to a much higher degree.
Yeah. I just saw the headline of an article. I don't know why I didn't read the whole thing, but the headline said that Sharon Stone recently came out and said that producer Robert Evans was pressuring her to have sex with Billy Baldwin during the production of Sliver, have sex with him so that the chemistry on screen would be better.
Oh my gosh.
That's like her claim. And I haven't read the whole article. I've just been skimming, but that's her claim. That's a bummer. This is from the Los Angeles Times. And Billy Baldwin shot back and said, "Not sure why Sharon Stone keeps talking about me after all these years. Does she still have a crush on me?
She wasn't talking about you, dummy."
After I shunned her advances." And he says, "I've got so much dirt on her, it would make her head spin but I've kept quiet."
Jesus.
She wasn't even talking about you. She didn't say anything bad about him.
Crazy. Well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't read the whole article, but there's some drama going on with Billy Baldwin and his Sliver co-star, Sharon Stone.
Oy vey. People. First of all, Robert Evans. Good lordy.
Yeah.
That's like the skeeviest of skeevy when you hear of like
those producers back in the day were just fucking.
Yeah, you hear of like old Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we obviously like the Harvey Weinstein stuff is, pretty well known, but Hollywood just gets grosser and grosser the more you think about it.
Yeah. The
more you learn, I mean.
Oh gosh. Anyways. So speaking of Billy Baldwin, since we've just introduced him in our Flatliners here, the next 4 reveals I have, which could be condensed into one, come from him. Because he is the next one to go under. He's the next one to flatline and be brought back. Mm-hmm. And when he does, he sees all this very feminine sexual imagery. Like being born, and then it's like, all women, and it's like his mom, and then there's like all these girls in lingerie and half naked and all this stuff. And so
thigh highs,
yeah.
Yeah, because Nelson's when he went to the other side, we saw images of like mountains and fields and kids running through them, and his dog Champ and all that. And this is very much like feels like a 90s music, very erotic music video,
right?
Like quick cuts and a lot of like sexual imagery.
Mm-hmm. So my next set of reveals come from Dr. Hurley, William Baldwin's character, as David is going under, because Dr. Hurley is using his video camera to film all this, and he starts seeing images everywhere of these women that he videotaped without their consent, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He sees it like pop up on the monitor, like the heartbeat monitor. He sees it in the viewfinder of his video camera.
Why didn't I count this?
He sees it being played on a public TV right before that night when he's talking to a woman. He sees it like in a rec room on the TV.
It's confusing.
And then he also sees a bunch on a TV display in the window of a store. And so all of those happen like really quickly together, within like 5 minutes. And so it could be counted as one reveal, I guess.
No, let's, hey, this is a Joel Schumacher movie. Let's jack those numbers up. Let's get wild. if that does count as your 4, so that you had 14 reveals, so that should put us. We should have the same amount of reveals now, going forward.
Okay,
correct.
We're gonna find out.
I'm doing the math wrong. We're 1 short because right. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah. Wow. Don't know why I didn't include those, but I guess I was kind of like where Casey and I were talking about earlier, where we weren't quite sure who the monsters were at that point. And the only reason why I counted Billy earlier, right? Billy Mahoney is the name, is because it looked kind of, there was a threat level.
Right.
So, yeah, because at first I was just thinking it was going to be Kiefer Sutherland because he was being really like aggressive about making them help him with this.
Yeah,
totally.
So
I
then
thought
I
he was
thought,
going to be the villain in the end.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be like a human threat and he was going to
that's
do
what
something.
I thought it was too.
Gotcha. So. Yeah. I mean, he does start to get pretty villainous throughout the movie. He's redeemed at the end, but
you're right.
But he starts to get jealous and mad at everybody because they all are kind of like, they're all like, oh, this was, we're doing this and we're doing this. And he's like, no, this was my idea. I brought you guys along.
Right. You're riding my coattails.
Don't steal my thunder.
I like that though, because you do start to see, because it does, it's kind of like, it throws you off a little bit because you are, I think, supposed to believe that, like maybe he's not, maybe we do think he might be bad, but in reality, they're kind of just exposing his vulnerabilities, which kind of all like kind of get pulled back to why he did this in the first place. Is because he has this like obsession with death because, spoiler alert, he accidentally killed a kid.
Because he murdered a child when he was 8.
And that's who he's being haunted
Maybe a
by.
little older, I don't know.
9, I think. So, yeah.
9.
Yeah. The next I have Nelson again getting beat up by Billy Mahoney with the hockey stick.
Nelson, you gotta travel in packs, people. If you're gonna flatline, travel in packs.
Yeah, and this is where he gets spit on. This is where Billy Mahoney hawks a loogie on him.
Oh, that was just do that.
It's not even like just getting spit on. It was like there was like travel time. Like it was thick.
Like this stuff doesn't usually bother me in movies, but I think this is like the only time that it's been like very real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
well, also spitting,
it's not always.
We don't kink shame on this podcast.
No.
And spitting can be kinky. But imagine if someone were to do that and imagine you're like really in it and like you're just like being crazy and like, but then all of a sudden they do that. It's just like a slow look. You're like, oh God.
But see, even to me, even that's different than being beaten up by somebody and having them spit in your mouth.
Totally.
What if Nelson was like, oh, oh, please, Mr. Mahoney, I'd never do anything to offend a man of your size.
What? What is that from?
You gonna eat that? No, yes. Well, no. Well, yeah, it crossed my mind.
Oh
yeah.
my God! How did I not know?
Wait, what is it from?
Dumb and Dumber.
Who's the dead man who hit me with a salt shaker? Oh gosh. So okay, conspiracy theory: Billy Mahoney is Seabass.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's so funny because in my head, I was thinking of Billy Madison, and I could not remember what the bully's name was in that one.
O'Doyle.
O'Doyle.
Yeah.
So I kept thinking of
rules.
Bill. So I was like waiting every time he like does something like that. I was like, O'Doyle rules. And it just like disappears.
Just like vanishes into smoke. And you just hear it echoing like, O'Doyle rules, O'Doyle rules, O'Doyle rules. Oh God.
That's so stupid.
Okay, so one thing we didn't mention, it was right when Dr. Hurley was seeing all of his visions of these recorded women, when they're putting David under. That's Halloween night. That's our Halloween.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah,
I was literally going to say my next note after Billy punches Nelson is Halloween is referenced from Oliver Platt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the Halloween party was very like, it felt very like 60s because it was like people weren't wearing like real costumes. They were just wearing those weird masks.
Yeah.
They were wearing, let's be honest, they were wearing costumes you could only find in Joel Schumacher's closet.
Yeah.
I feel like those all belong to him.
But they were so cool.
They were really cool.
And you get
the bonfire.
You get the great Joel Schumacher bonfire.
Yes.
A rock song. And Dr. Hurley is the only one who's dressed up, and he's got that skeleton outfit on.
He's dressed up as Donnie Darko for Donnie Darko. Actually, no, it would have been 2 years after, because Donnie Darko is set in 1988. Oh my God. Zach, set it up and I'll take it home.
It is time for the How I Met Your Monster conspiracy theory of the week.
All right, hit it.
You're telling me that NASA is going to kill the President of the United States with an earthquake?
Not exactly the kind of thing a Secret Service agent can, like, just throw himself on top of.
The whole Vietnam War was fought over a bet that Howard Hughes lost to Aristotle Onassis.
This is our third issue this year. Conspiracy theory.
Casey's so pissed. Okay, what is it?
Billy Baldwin's character, who I've been calling Joel up until this point, but you've been calling him Dr. Harley, or Hurley, which is fine.
It's Joe, and it's not even Joel. It's Joe.
It's Joe.
Oh, I've been calling him Schumacher, and then I nicknamed him Shoe. I've been just calling him Saint Shoe. No one knows who we're talking about. 3 different characters. This movie exists in the same universe as Donnie Darko, which, funny enough, was a contender for our Halfway to Halloween triple feature series, because it too is set in October and ends, spoiler alert, on Halloween or around something.
So spoiler.
Spoiler alert, Halloween exists as a holiday. So yeah, that movie, Donnie Darko, exists in this universe. These people who are very much, invested in the world of science and medicine were fascinated by Donnie Darko and the mystery surrounding his life. And as a result, Billy Baldwin's character, Joe Hurley, as we've established, is such a fan of Donnie Darko that he dressed up as Donnie Darko for Halloween in the same costume Donnie Darko wore on Halloween, which in itself is just a skeleton costume with a sweatshirt.
Man.
Yes. So while your minds are melting,
so wait a
we're
second.
going to continue.
So
he just likes Donnie Darko?
Yeah.
That's the conspiracy?
Whoa.
In the world of Flatliners, he's watched the movie Donnie Darko.
That's the conspiracy.
No, he's read... No, because Donnie Darko, the movie, would not have been out yet until 2001, I think. Hey. But the movie is set in 1988, which is 2 years before Flatliners is set.
Was there a news story or?
Oh, this would have been all over the news.
Okay, so he read the news.
I haven't seen Donnie Darko in years, but it's something like kid predicts something.
It's like a plane crash or something.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. That is the spoiler.
Spoiler. Yeah.
Not that there's Halloween in the movie, but
whoops.
That's the spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it wasn't in the news, someone in their little circle of science geeks would have been talking about it because it would have been blowing their mind.
Yeah.
So the conspiracy is that he likes Donnie Darko.
Yes. The real Donnie Darko who exists in this world.
Not Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
So
well, that's creepy because he's like a high schooler.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
You know what else is weird is that like he wore that outfit on Halloween in the movie, but the movie wasn't out yet, and so like, what was he actually wearing on Halloween? We don't really know.
He found photographic evidence somehow.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we got that cleared up,
yeah.
Now that David has been flatlined and he has visited the afterlife, now he's starting to get visions. So my next reveal is David seeing the little girl Winnie Hicks on the subway, and she's calling him names. She's being very...
Oh man, listen. I didn't write any of the insults down, but I should have, and I'm sure you guys did. But one thing that I noticed is that you didn't.
I only wrote down the only one that mattered because the other ones were like fart knocker and penis breath and stuff like that.
But that's the thing was she went all over the spectrum.
Oh yeah,
like she called him very innocent things like fart breath and blah blah blah. But then she said some really really horrible things.
Well, she opens up with she gets his attention by saying, "Hey, fellatio." I'm sorry.
Since when was that a bad
Never have I ever heard that.
Because I think his last name is Labratio.
Oh.
Labratio fellatio.
That's good. Winnie, that's hysterical.
It is.
That's a win for Winnie in my books.
But she went all across the board. Like she said some real fucked up things that little kids shouldn't say, and then she said stuff like fart.
Well, it was like improv.
I think she said
dissing.
booger brain at one point.
She's like, oh shit, there's still. I was hoping someone here would like step in and like take over. Or he would say something back to me, or he would try to run away. She's like, lint picker.
Liquor?
What
are you looking at, you liquor?
What is that?
An Orbit commercial.
Oh, is it?
Dirty mouth. Clean us up.
Yeah, where they're saying swear words, but they're saying like, shut the front door, like, what the French toast?
Yeah, with the French toast. French toast sounds good.
Yeah, so Little Winnie Hicks is our next reveal. My next reveal is an honorable mention, and it's one of my favorite scenes of the movie. It's when David is going to the group and he's like, hey, something's fucked up here because I just saw Winnie Hicks on the subway and she started calling me names. And
she called me booger brain.
And Dr. Hurley, Joe Hurley, is like, I'm seeing these things too, like these women that I videotape. And they're like, what, you fucking sicko?
Yeah.
He's like, it's awful. They're naked and they want to have sex with me. It's a nightmare.
And this is where they confront Nelson to be like, you knew something was up. Like, what's going on here? And he's like, what does he say? And I should have wrote it down. He's like, they're talking about, he said, oh, it's little Billy Mahoney. And he's like, is that what he did that to your face? And he was like, hey, sometimes the kid gets carried away or something like that. And so they're like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, you are being assaulted
by a figment of your imagination.
Yeah. But I just love that confrontation. And and Dave's like, you should have fucking told us. So we had a choice and all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. But I kind of put that as an honorable mention because they're all kind of saying who they're seeing, what they're seeing.
It's like the scene. I think this is my new thing where I can draw a connection to I Know What You Did Last Summer, because this is just like the scene when the four main characters get together.
The lipstick?
And they're like, no, it's after the lipstick. And he said, what's the line? He says, Julie finds a body in her trunk. Helen gets her hair chopped off. Maybe I'm saying no. Ray gets it. Oh, how does it go? Something. She finds a body in the trunk. Helen got her hair cut off, and you got a letter. Yeah, that's balanced.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, I thought that was the coolest delivery of a line ever.
You little Ryan Phillippe fan.
Oh my! I think that was my gay awakening when I was younger.
Really?
Okay.
During that shower scene, I was like by myself. I'm like, oh, it's hot hair, like sweating. I'm like, okay. It's like, you don't want your parents to know if you're watching a horror movie when you're a kid because it's like gory. And this one, it's because Ryan Phillippe is taking a shower.
Because you got a little fucking boner over Ryan Phillippe.
It's like, it's happening.
What is this?
So someone who we haven't talked enough about yet in this movie is Rachel Mannis, played by Julia Roberts, because she's the next one to flatline, and they have been pushing it off this whole time because everyone's got a crush on her, and they're like, we don't want you to die.
I can see why. Gee
Willikers, she's pretty.
Damn. I'm no better than a man.
She's a pretty lady.
She's a pretty lady.
Oh, I love her hair.
She's something, all right.
I love early 90s Julia Roberts curly hair.
Uh-huh.
Just want to get lost in it.
She's no Ryan Phillippe. But...
No.
Yeah.
But put that hair on him and I'm done for.
In the shower scene of I Know What You Did Last Summer, he's washing this.
But the shower does not affect the volume or anything.
Yeah.
And then when the car hits him, it just bounces off the hair.
So she's the next one to flatline, and she sees visions of her dad, who was coming back from the war and had some kind of PTSD because he was, we'll find out later, was abusing heroin. And he commits suicide. And she grows up thinking it was her fault.
Yeah.
Right. So her visions, even though he's not a monster, again, this is our reveals because we don't know what's going on yet. So my next reveal is her seeing her dad.
Yes, that's what I have too.
And like the lights always get red. And she sees him in the bathroom of like this building that they're doing these experiments in. So next, Nelson goes home and starts bolting all his doors because he thinks this
is how you stop a ghost.
He thinks it's how you stop a ghost. But
yeah, he's fucking... That's so stupid. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's just like a whole like comedy bit where every time he bolts the door, Billy's behind him. Like he's like, ah, damn it.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess you're just trying whatever you can, but like,
yeah.
He knows who this kid is. He knows that the kid is dead.
Right. He knows that he killed this kid.
Yeah.
He knows that this kid is somehow coming into his consciousness and fucking beating the shit out of him. This man is in medical school to be a doctor. And he's boarding up his door thinking that he can get this fucking thing that's from his mind.
Well, okay. Here's a question. We find out, so like Nelson later is fighting Billy Mahoney in the back of Dave's truck. Right? And he's got like, Billy Mahoney is going to like cut his face with that climbing pick. When Dave goes to when Dave goes to stop him and save Nelson, Nelson is doing it to himself.
So
right?
That's what I was about to say is like, they all think that they're all like just in agreement that these are like their past things, but whatever. I would think that since they're all medical students and stuff, that they would think that it was just like psychosis brought on by this experiment that they're doing.
Do you think that's another like valid read on the movie? Is that by flatlining, it created some form of like imbalance in their brains?
I don't know.
It's kind of forcing them to kind of reflect on like deep-seated, like the darkest memories they have. And they just kind of like agree essentially to be like, I need to come to peace with this because it is now not literally haunting me, but you know what I mean? Like, so maybe instead of it actually like triggering real ghosts, it's like it's switched, flipped a switch that maybe otherwise would have never been flipped had you not gone through this experience.
Right.
I don't know, maybe that's too
No,
much,
it makes sense because before Nelson goes under for the first time, I forget who it is. Maybe Hurley says, yeah, you're going to wake up with brain damage. And he's like, well, not if you keep the body at this temperature. That was like the chill blanket and the heated blanket.
You guys ready to get chill? Yeah.
You guys ready to get chilled? But so maybe they are getting brain damage. And this is, like you said, this is because Nelson, maybe he thinks he like deserves to be hurt because he hurt whatever.
Yeah.
And then Hurley, you know, he just has this guilt because he's doing this and he's engaged to his fiance. Then you've got Dave,
Rachel,
she's just been dealing with this guilt her whole life about her dad. And her relationship with who's that lady, Mrs. Ames or Mrs.
Oh, the one who's one of her patients.
One of her patients. Yeah. Maybe there was something there that like got her to think about how she should forgive her dad or something like that.
Yeah. Totally.
And then Dave just has the visions of Winnie, who he goes to apologize to. So yeah,
it's like, it's the most like, it's the darkest part of their subconscious that maybe isn't always surface level haunting them, but like you said, like this form of brain damage, you know, in so many words, is just like sparked something in them that has risen to the top, you know, of the pile of like their consciousness, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So they literally have to face it in order to kind of quell those, the intensity of it, I guess.
Yeah. Nelson he was 1 degree off. He was like, I don't know, it was like 86 degrees or something. He's like, oh, 86, I'm at 85. 86 is where you get brain damage. Damn it. Sorry, guys.
And
He's in the
then he was like
danger
too
zone.
embarrassed that he wouldn't change it for everyone else. So he just kept doing the same thing because he couldn't admit.
They can't know that I'm wrong.
And he's like, and this isn't that bad, you know, when you think of brain damage. And then and then all of a sudden he's like hitting himself with an axe. And he's like, oh, it's pretty bad. I should have.
I made a mistake.
Yeah. Oops. They're like, as he's about to flatline the other person, they're like, "Do you say whoops?" And he's like, No. I said, whoopee. Yay. Let's do this.
Okay, so we got Rachel sees her dad. Then we've got Billy Mahoney attacks Nelson after he locks all the doors. He bolts all the doors and Billy still comes in. Then we get Rachel's dad again as our next reveal.
We have one before that. Is that the cadaver scene? When they're in the...
No, that's later.
Oh, okay. So maybe I missed. Okay.
So first we see Rachel sees her dad in the mirror. And he looks very like zombie-esque because he's like Billy Mahoney like died, but he came back just like looking like a normal kid. This guy like kept his wounds and everything, it seems like, in some of her visions. So we'll do a speed round here. We got Rachel seeing her dad in the mirror. Then we've got Joe Hurley sees all the women as he's climbing the stairs to his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
They like start outside when they're like, hey, you want to go on a date or something? And he's like, look me up in the phone book. And then he starts going up the stairs and they're all there. And by the time he gets to the top, his fiance's there and she has found all the tapes.
Really quickly, I know we just said speed round. I love that scene and I love that character, Anne. Of all the characters, she was the most mature.
Mm-hmm.
She watches all of his tapes, and I don't know. I appreciated that she doesn't care as much that he cheated on her than she cares that he exposed all these women without consent.
Yes,
right.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Like, there's just such a stark contrast between who these two people are fundamentally.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't need his dusty ass anyway.
Yeah. Also, it's Hope Davis. She's gonna do just fine.
Yeah, I think that was one of her earliest roles.
Really?
I think.
I like her.
Yeah, that was her first movie.
No shit.
That was her first movie. Yep.
I wonder if she had high hopes about her career.
She's had a good career.
But she had high hope because her name. Hope. She had High Hope Davis's.
Oh, nice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so continuing the speed round, which is very speedy.
Yeah, I apologize. We have stopped you every single time.
Now we get to Rachel's dad on the exam table.
Okay.
That's the one that you were talking about.
Yes.
Where he kind of wakes up and she's like operating and she runs out of the room.
And then then it's the whole Winnie sequence. And that's like, kind of feels like, has a kind of a climactic feel to it, even though we technically do have the climax. Something about that feels very because that's when David basically closes the book on his quote unquote ghost or whatever's haunting him, only to find out that Nelson he's got it bad. He's got it worse than any of them.
Right. And this scene, when it came on, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. And when it came on, I just got all these like creeped out feelings from when I was a kid. And this scene always scared the shit out of me. Like,
oh, that's interesting.
It's like that nice like fall day, but there's something like spooky going on. And there's like the tracking camera and all this stuff. And I was just like, oh my God. Like I was having like nostalgic memories of being scared of this scene. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was pretty cool.
This scene made me laugh, and it wasn't the movie's fault. I thought it was really effective, but it made me laugh because when David exits Winnie's house and goes to the truck and sees that Nelson's being attacked. I was just trying to look at the scene from Winnie and her family's perspective, because clearly they're gonna like look out the window like, who was that? And they just like see like just this insanity like happening in the truck. And he's like, they're screaming and he's breaking the truck. Like, what the hell is going on? Who are these people?
Yeah, I'd like to see the aftermath of that scene where the family comes out and they're like, what the fuck is going on?
She's like, listen, hey, fellatio, get out of here.
Oh, gosh. So this is where Nelson is getting attacked by Billy Mahoney in the back of the truck that we mentioned earlier with the climbing pickaxe thing. And we find out that Nelson is doing it to himself. So our next reveal is when Rachel sees her dad in the bathroom and they make amends.
Like I said earlier, that was sad. Because, like, you know, I had someone in my life for a long time that was a recovering drug addict, and it's just intense.
Sure.
Intense shit.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's... I'm the same way. I've been surrounded by drug addiction in my family and just among friends and stuff, and have lost quite a few people. But the one consolation with scenes like this is, you know, is just shedding. It's tough because there is the difference between the stigma around addiction and the stigma around drugs. You know, an addiction is... You know, it's a mental health problem. There, that's like, there are deep-seated issues there, but so it's not that I like that we're seeing that, you know, shown in a negative light. I just, you know, I think if there's one consolation, it's that we show they're not being celebrated. You know, it is like she has it. I mean, I guess I said Nelson has it the worst, but she has it the worst in terms of this, how it's someone who is so close to her. So.
Yeah, and then thinking it was her fault. Her entire life.
Right.
Which it can sometimes feel like, especially for a kid who doesn't maybe understand what leads to drugs or necessarily like.
Well, yeah, I think she said she was 5. Which is just.
Well, she probably didn't even understand what the drugs were. She just knew that her father had taken her own life. Or her own life. Her father had taken his own life.
Yeah.
So that's what she blamed herself for. She probably didn't. When she was that young, I'm sure she had no idea what the drugs even were.
Well, yeah, because she opens the door and then the dad runs out. Or no, before the dad runs out, the mom grabs her and she's like, you're not allowed to go in there. Like, I told you to stay out of there. And then the dad runs out and shoots himself. And so she's like, well, fuck, I opened the door. I shouldn't have opened the door.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Man, it's rough.
That's also what I like about this movie, too, is that you kind of get so many different, well, for lack of a better word, like flavors of grief and things that can haunt us.
Danny's like thinking of Mystic Pizza. That's why.
Yeah. You know, and sometimes you get pepperoni, you know, and it's like mushrooms. Oh, sausage.
Yeah, you like sausage.
Cheese. Oh, it's just like big sausage. Like, do you want to slice it up? No, just full sausage, please.
It's because you're gay.
Sausage, eggplant.
No. Eggplant is not a representation of a dick.
Yes, it is. The emoji.
Yeah, have you ever seen an eggplant? Would you like an eggplant up your ass, Danny?
My penis looks like an eggplant. It's green and purple. And
I literally pictured a dick with like the leaves on the end of it.
Danny looks down and it's just the emoji, just the eggplant emoji.
No, but I liked how. That's one thing I really liked about this movie was that you get all these different kind of variations, I guess, of what we can be haunted by, and some of them happen to us, and some of them are, you know, happen because of something we've done, either voluntarily or involuntarily. When you think of like Joe versus Nelson, and then sometimes it's not that what David's was innocent because Winnie suffered and that clearly affected her life, but the fact that like most people can kind of understand, we all know what it's like to be a kid, and there's just a different, it's like the politics of childhood are just so different, and our behaviors are just, it can be, there's a lot of mean nastiness that is kind of inevitable, and you can't really get away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Speaking of flavors, what do you think Oliver Platt's character would have been haunted by if he went under?
What's his name in the movie?
Sphincter.
Sphincter?
Yeah, Sphincter.
I think
Dr. Sphincter.
Dr. Sphincter.
I think that
Paging Dr. Sphincter.
Oliver Platt.
This movie is called Flatliners, and he's Dr. Sphincter.
Wait, what are all their butt?
No, we don't have time for that.
Related nicknames.
We don't have time for
all
that.
Right, Nelson.
Or not. Okay.
Dude, it's right there. So you got Dr. Rachel Manis, which is anus. Dr. Rachel Dr. Rachel M. Anus. You got Dr. Joe Hurley, which is
Hurl is like vomit.
Uh-huh.
So I guess we could, maybe it's just like excretion. So
okay, what's all over
Dr. Joe Hurling?
Randy Steckel.
Okay, Dr. Stickle. Dr. Stickle. Much like Rachel.
Steckel with an E. Steckel.
Much like Rachel blames herself for her father's death, I think that Dr. Steckel was an altar boy who was touched by a priest. And blames himself.
Why, Casey? Why?
Because he's just got that face.
I love Oliver Platt.
Well, were you the priest?
Oh gosh.
I was going to say,
that's fucking funny.
I don't really have an answer, but if we wanted to really peel this apart, he's like the most cautious of all of them. So there could be something, like maybe he's kind of like danger evasive.
Nah, he tortured animals.
Is it aversive? That's why. Yeah. Maybe he knows something, maybe he is truly the opportunist here because he's recording everything. He's documenting it all. He's the one who wants to like write a book about, he wants his name on the cover. And he's the only one who doesn't do it. So maybe he knows something and he is trying to profit off of the brain damage, the effects of brain damage amongst his friends.
Maybe he like manipulated Nelson into thinking this was his idea when it was really Steckel's idea.
Yes.
And Nelson's
that would
like,
have been a great little twist.
This is a great idea that I had. And Steckel's like, it's working.
Mm-hmm. He's like, why did you just whisper into your recording device? It's working.
No, I said it's it's whirling.
It's as in life. You know what I mean? It's just this crazy.
In the whirlpool of life.
What is life?
Crazy
but a whirlpool.
And Kevin Bacon's like, oh, okay. Checks out.
Cool. So back to my idea.
Yeah, never. Anyways, not suspicious.
Okay, so Rachel's seeing her dad in the bathroom and kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Kind of making amends with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like
making amends is the last reveal I have. So tell me what you guys have for your final reveal.
Was it not finding out that Nelson murdered Billy Mahoney?
So that's before. So we go to the grave right before Julia Roberts has her moment with her dad.
Okay.
Did
you guys not
that
count
would
that?
be a reveal.
I mean,
would that be an honorable mention? Because it's like, again, it's more of a plot point.
I mean, I guess, but it's like a huge deal. It's not just that he was throwing rocks at this boy in a tree. It's that he fucking died.
Well, that's, I think, where we struggled with this movie in terms of listing reveals, because it's like, is anyone who does something monstrous a monster?
Well, because then, like, even in this, then we would count Dave as a monster. We would count well, I mean, Joe Hurley is a monster and Rachel didn't do anything because she was a kid. So it would just be, if we counted that, we would also have to count Dave as a monster for making fun of Winnie Hicks.
I guess, but to me, like being made fun of and, killing a boy, somebody. It's a little bit different, but whatever. I didn't write anything down, so.
Okay. Well, let's give it an honorable mention.
Okay, honorable mention is fine.
I'm totally cool with an honorable mention for sure.
Okay.
Because
it just pushes him over the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, because up until this point, we've seen visions. We know something is going on. We know something happened in the tree, but we don't exactly know what.
Yeah, we didn't know that Billy Mahoney slow motion fell out of a tree about 10 stories and then died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The tallest tree.
The tallest tree.
He's like,
and he fell the slowest anybody has ever fallen in history.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was 1990. You had to really milk the drama.
That's right.
No, but my final reveal, so it needs to be set up because we're now at basically the climax of the movie where Nelson decides to flatline again, but he wants to do it himself. He doesn't need anyone's help.
Which is
he's
so
just
stupid
now. Yeah, I know.
Because
like, how do you even...
Everyone else like made amends or whatever. And he's like, oh, I know what I need to do to fix this. Why don't you just be like, hey guys, meet me here. I need to go under again so I can fix this.
Totally.
Why do you have to be like, I'm sorry for everything I did. Don't find me. Even though I'm going to the same spot where I've done this every other time.
Exactly.
Well, he obviously wanted them to find him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have called anybody.
True.
He's just being a dramatic little bitch.
Do you think he did it with the intention? Do you think he wanted to take his own life? Do you think it was just becoming so overwhelming that he actually didn't want it to work?
I mean, yes and no. Well, I think it was like he wanted to, but again, he still wanted people to find him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have told anybody.
That's a good point. So maybe it was kind of this, like, a lot. Like, it was like...
Yeah, he's dramatic. He's fucking bolting up the door when a ghost is like, come on.
Well, yeah, because even in his when he flatlines again, and Billy Mahoney's like, come with me. I forgive you. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And then he hears other voices and he's like, nah, Billy, I'm good. I'm going back.
Yeah.
So, like, if he really wanted to do it, he just would have went with Billy.
Yeah.
To the afterlife.
That's true. Yeah, so maybe it's just he's got a lot of emotions and they're just kind of spitfiring right now.
Yep.
Yeah, so that whole finale. So did I get this correctly? He was under for over 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Good lordy. I did like how they bookended David's little story where he has that fuck up earlier on in the movie, and then he's the one in the end who like keeps pushing to make sure that they save Nelson's life. Mm-hmm. You know, against all odds. You know, he's maybe not going quite, you know, everything is telling them like they have failed, and yet he's still willing to keep going. And thankfully he does, because he saves them.
Right.
But my final reveal, my final monster reveal was Billy forgiving Nelson at the end.
Okay.
So we have that last moment.
See,
so
I didn't count that as a monster because we know Billy is not a monster.
That's fair. I just thought for continuity's sake, like he was the quote unquote monster of the movie.
Yeah. Right.
But maybe because he's officially revealed as the victim, we wouldn't count it. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the end of this movie was really weird, though.
In what way?
The scene, or
because it was just like, oh, he's alive, and then it plays like this nice song with the credits.
I love the ending.
It just felt too happy for me. I don't know. It wasn't a happy fucking story.
Enter late, exit early.
Yeah.
Don't overstay your welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he comes back and he whispers something, and he's like, "What did he say?" And he was like, "Today wasn't a good day to die," or something like that.
I wish someone was like, "But it is a good day to cry," and then they hugged.
Yeah, but it wasn't a happy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they still went through all of this like weird traumatic shit. Like they all need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
But is that cinematic? No.
But they're like, we're just going to play this song.
Oh.
So we got to cut it. It's implied.
Yeah. I don't know. Cause I love it just like shifts from like they're all close up and things are there, and then it cuts to like a wide shot of all of them, and then it pulls back and you're going through the building and the music's playing and it's very Joel Schumacher-y, and it's
I like when they all look at the camera and they go flatline and then it ends on a freeze frame.
I would have liked that.
Jump up with their hands in the air.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Breakfast
Langoliers.
Frame. Yeah.
Oh, Breakfast. Yeah. So Langoliers meets the Breakfast Club. That was Joel Schumacher's pitch of this movie.
The Langoliers.
Oh my God. I forgot about that movie. I remember watching that on TV when it aired.
I actually think about it more than most people probably do. They were like
something.
weird little meatballs in the airport. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. It's a great way to
It's flying meatballs.
pixel art meatballs. Yeah.
To Danny, they're full sausages.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
he
I
needs,
didn't like it.
He needs a sausage to go with the meatballs.
I like the meat long, cylindrical, and...
You don't like balls?
Oh, you mean, I see what you're saying.
He needs
I
a
like
full
meatballs
sausage
with
and
my
2
sausage.
Langoliers.
Yeah.
I like Langoliers with my tremor, or my graboid.
All right. So that's Flatliners, you guys. Let's go over our favorite reveals of Flatliners.
What's going on here?
I don't see anything anywhere.
That's how they get you. They're under the goddamn ground.
Mine is, again, our rules for what constitutes as a monster is all over the place. So I'm just going based on the official rules that we've been following. But my favorite reveal was Winnie as a kid screaming, "Hey, Fellatio," on the train, which I thought was one of the funniest line deliveries I've ever seen. I was literally like, what did she just say?
Okay.
So that's my favorite.
Okay.
Casey?
I also like when Winnie said fellatio.
2 for Fellatio.
Wow.
Well, I liked all of her other insults too. I just like that she called him booger brain and then swore at him a bunch.
I mean, it was pretty good.
It was good.
I mean, if you're looking for insults, that's, hop on board this train.
Yeah. You're looking for insults, just go to Winnie Hicks's her greenhouse and find her.
That's how she keeps them fresh. She just, they always say you should like talk to your plants and like, like say kind
They'd all be
words.
dead.
She just disses them.
Shriveled up. Okay. Well, my favorite reveal in Flatliners is when Nelson gets attacked in Dave's truck by Billy Mahoney.
That's a good one.
Just because I think of the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
From like when I was a kid, it used to scare the shit out of me, and I think it's a cool little scene. So that's my favorite reveal.
Love it.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, guys. Now it's time for a segment that we like to call the Real Monster.
Run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
You're a monster.
I'm not the monster here. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others?
Eat me.
All right, I'll just go ahead and get mine out of the way. It is chest compressions in movies, because I know that they can't do real chest compressions, but it still drives me crazy that it doesn't look anything close to a real chest compression. You are not fucking fooling me, Kevin Bacon.
Right. Are they just going too soft?
Yeah, because technically when you really do them, you're like cracking ribs.
Right.
And they're like barely touching
It's funny because there's a scene where I can't remember which character, but they're like, let me take over. And he does like the same pressure. I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, like, at least, put a fucking dummy in there and let somebody go to town.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
you just hear sound effects. It's like the same pressure, but you hear like cracking. It's like so intense. Or they use a dummy that just goes all the way through.
Yeah.
It's like
in
the
the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
My real monster is war.
What is it good for?
Absolutely
nothing.
Say it again.
Because no, but for real, it fucks people up.
Yeah,
It's true.
There's no need for it.
I'm with you. My real monster was Joel. He's the only one in the movie who's actually like a bad person.
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
Right? Like,
because like the other ones did stuff when they were kids. I mean, I know that technically that kid died, but you know, he's, you know,
yeah,
20 years
and he was
ago.
also very conscious of what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Not that it would make it any different, but it's just like, ew.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
gross.
yeah. I mean,
also, obviously, I don't mean this in the context of non-consensual sexual videotaping, so I just want that, you know. But his framing, he frames from the torso up.
Danny.
Which I just found
Danny.
very funny. What?
Nothing.
I mean, if you're gonna videotape it,
I prefaced it. That is not in context of non-consensual experiences.
Yeah, in consensual videotaping, you would think you would film the whole thing.
Where would he put it though? What did he want to do? Get his asshole in the shot?
Yeah, it's the best part.
Not. He probably doesn't want to look at his own asshole.
Yeah, but if he flips over, you got dong. So like,
He's not gay.
Yeah, but it's not gay if it's your own dick.
Well, if he flips over, she's going to be on top, so he's going to see
exactly.
Still, which is the same he's seeing right now. If he's in mission, if they're doing fucking missionary, and the camera's over his shoulder, he's going to see your boobies.
I don't know, Danny. Can you get Billy Baldwin on the phone?
Yeah.
Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, beep.
FaceTime.
Hi, Billy.
We're FaceTiming.
Yeah, we're just having some issues with your camera framing. No, not in Sliver. No. Yeah. No, he said because of all of the allegations that are happening right now, he cannot comment on Sliver or any movies that have to do with voyeurism. So I apologize.
Okay. So he probably didn't listen to our Peeping Tom episode.
No, he legally could not listen to that. He's listened to everyone else, every other episode except for that one. And not Psycho. But to be fair, he listened to the first half only to realize that Norman Bates is in fact a voyeur.
He's like, oh shit, the cops bust down his door.
Yeah, he's like, I always forget that scene. I'm always thinking about the shower, but I forget he watches her in the shower. Oh, I forgot to hang up. Sorry. Bye, Billy.
All right. Well, that is Flatliners. That is our first movie in our Halfway to Halloween triple feature.
Lovely. Yeah, guys, happy Halloween.
Happy fucking Halloween, man.
Happy halfway to Halloween, guys.
Oh,
what are
I
we
have some
watching
candy
next?
for you? Here's a little Hershey Kiss. Here's a
Ew.
little miniature Snickers.
Ew, Danny.
I've removed all the
Danny,
nuts.
this
I
looks
dug
like
in
shit.
and I pulled all the nuts out of that Snickers.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, what is our next feature in our Halfway to Halloween triple feature series?
Our next feature in our Halfway to Halloween triple feature series is something that I'm very excited about because Zach and Danny absolutely do not want to watch this movie, and that is specifically why I chose it, and it is Terrifier.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Shaking in my little clown
It's going to be
boots.
so much fun, and you guys are going to love it, and we're going to have so much to talk about, and it's just going to be great.
Well, I am excited to
I did know this was coming.
pick your
so
brain
that's-
About Terrifier because I know that it is near and dear to your heart. So
It is.
That is a great
I love
point.
art.
Yeah, that's a great point. Our next episode is going to be a great excuse for us to let Casey kind of just pour out all of her love for Art the Clown.
Yes.
That's right. But until that episode, you can find us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, at How I Met Your Monster. Reach out to us if you want to talk more about Flatliners or you have some cool information about Terrifier for our next episode. Send us an email, howimetyourmonsterpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to answer those emails. Where can our listeners find you guys on social media?
I am on Instagram at WolfMotherCasey.
Nice. Danny?
I'm on just like a whole boatload of socials at my name, Danny Salem. Sometimes it's Danny Salem Miller, and that's DANNYSALEMME. 2 M's like the candy. Melt in your butt, not in your hands.
All right. And you can find me on social media at Zach Winsick. Make sure to join us next episode for Terrifier. And until then, thank you all for listening. Now go meet some monsters.
Go flatline, brother.
Can we all say Happy Halloween at the same time? On 3.
1, 2, 3.
Happy Halloween. Danny was late.